Good morning, preppers. Happy day to you. Today we're going to talk about, well, some people argue as being the most essential thing you can do for prepping, and that is being in shape. Because when and if, and I'm telling you, and when crap hits the fan, you're going to have to be able to defend yourself. You may have to bug out. Maybe you need to be able to be in shape to be able to handle whatever things come your way. And there's going to be a lot of things coming your way. And understand that this video, simply put, is there to challenge you. I'm here to motivate you because I am not in the best of shape, but I am like night and day compared to what I was just a few months ago. And when it comes to working out, for example, I know not everybody in our viewing audience can do this. There's a lot of things that come into play as far as disabilities or even just age and such, and I get that. But again, as a motivation, let me kind of tell you where I'm at. I was actually up to the weight of 260 pounds. My shirt sizes were a 3X. And my waist size was 48. Now, because of practically speaking keto and doing working out too, I'll explain all that in a few. I am less than 220 now. This morning I weighed 218. I'm losing about a half a pound to a pound a day, around there somewhere. My shirts, some of my shirts I'm wearing are size large, which blows my mind. I didn't think I'd ever get into a size large again. And my waist, I'm not sure. Again, I was 48. I think maybe now I'm 38. I'm around there somewhere. I like wearing like a lot of elastic type shorts, which, you know, I don't look at the waistband on that. But I've gone over 40 pounds. And my goal is to go over 40 more, maybe 45 more. When I get down there, I'll take a look. But understand, I'll say it again, this is not bragging. This is to motivate you, because the things that have worked for me work for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people around the country, and it works very well for them as well. And I simply just did the research. So of course, there's a disclaimer that this is not medical advice. I'm not a licensed physician anymore. So, you know, take this as you will, talk to your physician, whatever you need to. Now for me, and Ashley too, we have both started keto. And, you know, we try to, our kids are not on keto. Their metabolism is much higher than ours. But what we do instead is we try to cut down on their carbs quite a bit, you know, which for them it works very well. And they're actually in very good shape because of this. But for her and I, we're on keto. And we started out, we thought we were on keto, but it turns out we were on what people call a dirty keto, where, you know, if you want to truly be on keto, you actually have to be at 20 grams of carbs per day or less. And there was, after we did this for a while, we were losing weight, we were doing pretty well, but we weren't losing it near as fast as we thought we were. So we started really counting the amount of carbs coming in, and we realized there was actually more carbs than we were eating when we thought. And so now we're truly on keto, and the weight is really coming off fast. Now the keto, and I know a lot of people are on like paleo and carnivore and all those diets. They're very similar to keto. And so I'm a big fan of these. I think they work very well. Of course, they don't always work for everybody. I know there's certain people who are like on a vegetarian or vegan diet, and they're in great shape. Great for you. Not great for me. It doesn't quite work. I hate raw vegetables with a passion, but that's just me. You know, I wish I liked them. I really do. I loved cooked vegetables, but of course, there's a lot more carbs in those. Now, when it comes to keto, practically speaking, it's about having proteins. And again, I've made a video about this where it talks about how proteins in your diet are essential. Essential in a medical term means you have to take it in by diet. There are certain essential amino acids, which are just the building blocks of proteins, you have to eat, period. You can't make them in your body. However, if you get enough proteins in, you can make all the fat you want, which is interesting. If you can make all the carbs you want. And so people talk about all the time how, oh, you know what? You have to have carbs, and that's true, but your body will make them. However, those certain essential amino acids, those certain proteins, you have to take in by diet, period. Look it up. There's no other options about that. And I will tell you right now, the best meal on the planet for this, by far, is fish. Fish is like the wonder food for human beings. And if I could eat fish every day, 3 meals a day, I'd be a happy man. I love fish, and I know not everybody does. But there are some alternatives, of course. When you get into eating like steak or beef or chicken, yeah, for keto they work well, but understand the amount of the type of proteins and the omegas coming in, that may not be the healthiest for you. But you know what? I always say that keto, you know, they say there's a lot of problems with it, but you know what there's a big problem with, and that's obesity. It's a killer. So fish is your number one. Beef, chicken, that's good too. And also for me, I like protein powders. Now, I'm not necessarily endorsing this one. This is from a company called Muscle Feast. What a great name, Muscle Feast. And this is an isolate. In other words, they actually get it from milk, but they actually take out the lactose, so there's no sugars in it. And the amount of carbs in this per serving is like 0.2 grams. It's really awesome. This is really good stuff. I'll put a link below for this. There's actually a strawberry cheesecake flavor. There's a mocha flavor. There's a cappuccino flavor, vanilla, unflavored. There's a bunch of them. And the sweetener in this is stevia. Now, I can't have any artificial sweeteners. They mess with my brain. And I'll talk more about my problems in a little bit too, as far as like the disabilities I have, because I'm disabled. And if I have any of those artificial sweeteners, they nail me. I mean, I will be out for usually a few days. But stevia, for some reason, and monk fruit doesn't mess with me. Probably because it's a natural source. That's my best guess. But practically speaking, here's my diet. I get up in the morning and I usually have a seltzer. Yeah, sometimes, well, actually, pretty much all the time in the morning, I'll have a seltzer with caffeine in it. There's a few brands out there, like Bubbly, for example. Another one's called Phocus. Another one's called a Highball. If I get up in the morning and I'm like super tired, I have a Highball seltzer. And it's literally seltzer water, flavored soda water. And it has caffeine and some vitamins in it too. And man, I'll drink one of those and I'm like, oh, it works far better than, I can't drink coffee anymore. It also messes with my brain. And it's not the caffeine. There's chemical in the coffee. And teas, I have to be careful with. There's certain teas, if I drink too much of it, it'll start messing with my brain also. But these seltzers are not like that at all. Again, I'll put a link below for these as well. Highball and Focus are the big ones. And then Bubbly has a caffeinated one too. That's my morning coffee. I have one of those. Then when I'm hungry, usually about in a couple hours, I'll have a shake. Now in a shake, I'll put in a scoop of this, and I'll also put in a scoop of collagen peptides. Collagen peptides are amazing. Not only will they actually help you build muscles, but they'll actually decrease your joint pain and make your skin more healthy. So as I'm losing weight, I have like a little bit of a flab right here that honestly it used to be a flab down here, but it's actually receding, and collagen peptides help out with that a lot. So I actually have a scoop of this, and I usually use a cup of almond milk to give it some flavoring, some ice cubes. And I also put in a scoop of calcium citrate. I'll talk about the calcium citrate in a few minutes, why I do that. But that's my breakfast. And then sometimes a few hours later, I'll get a little hungry. Obviously, dinner time, I get kind of hungry. But I will have keto snacks, cheese, nuts, and seeds, which give me a lot of the fiber. Sometimes I'll actually have like a turkey meat stick, a few things like that to just kind of hold me over. And for a dinner, we don't have like an enormous dinner, but we'll have like a decent sized dinner. But again, it also falls into keto. Usually some kind of meat dish, some broccoli or cauliflower. Last night we had Brussels sprouts, which are delicious. And of course, lots of flavorings and spices too to make it all really good. Okay, so that's our meals, and that's what I pretty much stick to. But in addition, I also take vitamins, and that's what I'm going to look at next. Now, even if you're not on keto, even if you're like a vegetarian or vegan and you eat a lot of fresh produce, you should still be taking vitamins because more than likely you're not eating from a piece of ground that's brand new that actually has never produced veggies for you, because that brand new ground will actually have a lot of minerals in there, which is accumulated over hundreds, if not thousands of years. And when the plant grows, it actually takes up those minerals. And when you eat that produce off there, you're getting those minerals, which you actually have to have those. A lot of them are just trace minerals, which is great. But if you've done any type of farming or gardening on this area for a while, it eventually will leach out a lot of those vitamins and minerals. And unfortunately, even if you get like fresh produce sometimes, even from farmers markets, it's still depleted from lots of those vitamins and minerals. And people say, you should never eat canned food or canned vegetables. Canned vegetables are just the vegetable and salt. They actually have just as many nutrients and vitamins and minerals as fresh produce, which unfortunately is not a lot. So taking multivitamins is important. Now, the first thing I want to say about multivitamins is you need to watch out for the kind you take. And I'm not necessarily saying brands. There are brands like One A Day and Centrum, which are not good. They're not bad for you. But what happens is they take all those vitamins, nutrients, and minerals, and they bake them into the pill. They're heat pressed. And then when you take it, since your digestive system is not hot like that, it actually has a hard time breaking it apart. So you may actually take like a Centrum, and then next time you go number 2, it'll parts of it called ghost pills or remains will actually be in your feces. It's a waste of vitamin because you're not actually absorbing them because your digestive system can't break them down. So trying to find something that's labeled as cold pressed vitamins, which, they're usually kind of more expensive and they're a little bit more difficult to find. Or if you can actually find multiple vitamin packs, that's good because it splits it up and there's more surface area for your stomach acid and the enzymes to break it down. Or you can go with the liquid vitamins, but I caution you about liquid vitamins because they often have artificial sweeteners in them, which are really, really, really bad for you. What I take is this. There's a company called NutraBio. They actually have multi-sport, they have men's, they have women's, they have a whole bunch of different blends. And wow. I used to be, when I first started taking vitamins, I was a college professor, and there were days I would go in, I'd teach. I love teaching, I'm going in there teaching and go through all the stuff I need to, and I feel kind of sluggish. And I was like, oh, it's time for a vitamin again. And I would take a vitamin once every 2 or 3 days back in those days. And I would take the vitamin, and after a few hours, oh, I'm ready to go, and I felt awesome. And it was these vitamins. But over time, I was like, you know what? I probably start taking these at least once a day. And now I actually take 2 a day. And sometimes I actually take these. These are a multivitamin from Amazon Elements, which honestly, it's a bigger pill that breaks apart pretty easy. So what I often do is on a day, I'll take one of these and one of these instead of just 2 of these because these are a lot more expensive. But I think this will actually make up for it. That's just me talking. So I actually take 2 of these 1-a-day style vitamins. And these ones are the capsules, vegetarian capsules, which is good because once you break it in your stomach acid will eat it apart quickly. Then it puts all the powder into your stomach. So it's much, much easier to digest. And that's why we have things in capsules. But you have to understand that taking these vitamins, it's important you take it with food, especially with a fatty food, like if you have like a meat, for example, because of vitamins A, D, E, and K are what are called fat-soluble or lipid-soluble vitamins. The only way for you to absorb them into your bloodstream is if there's actually a fat present. So taking them with just water without a meal will not work very well. Or if you're just taking it with like just certain vegetables with a meal, it's not going to work very well. Okay. I also take calcium. Let's see, where's my calcium bottle? Oh, I did. It's right here. So I also take calcium. There's a lot of research on this. I take 1,200 to 2,000 milligrams a day. It actually helps your bones and muscles, but also long-term, it actually helps your blood pressure because that's something for me as well. My blood pressure was pushing 200 when I was actually at my heaviest. And now I check it every morning and I log it down along with my weight. And there's days now it's actually going into normal range. Finally. After doing this for quite a while. So if I lose another 40 pounds, it should all be normal because having hypertension and obesity, they go hand in hand. And often you find it when if somebody loses the weight, their blood pressure will go back down as well. But calcium actually helps with the blood pressure. It actually helps your heart. And it's interesting because a lot of physicians say you shouldn't take too much calcium because it'll actually be bad for your heart and such. However, other research shows that's just the opposite. Again, I gave you the disclaimer. You can do it if you want to. But what I actually found and actually helped me is if you actually take 2,000 milligrams of calcium a day, I read a study on it, it actually drastically reduces your pain. And that's one of the things I have daily is a lot of pain. And so it worked. I couldn't believe it. If I take like 1,400, 1,600 milligrams a day, I don't even have to go to 2,000, then my pain is pretty much gone now. I used to be in pain every single day. And I try a whole bunch of other things like moringa. Didn't work at all for me. I know for some people it works, but it didn't for me. So taking the calcium pills is one thing, but that's why I actually add the calcium citrate to my shake because it actually gives me all the calcium I need in a powder form and I drink it and therefore I don't have to worry about the pills. I like having the pills because if we're actually out someday and I want to grab something to eat while we're driving around, whatever, I can take the calcium then. Vitamin D3, cholecalciferol. This actually is a vegan blend with coconut oil. Cholecalciferol helps you absorb the calcium, which is good. Also for bones, muscle, and neurons. It actually helps your brain, which is what I need because I have brain injury from the Gulf War, and your immune system. So this actually, of course, you'll make a lot of vitamin D if you're out in the sun, which, it's iffy up here in Michigan, but in the wintertime, it's almost non-existent. So taking vitamin D3, but you have to be careful with this because it is a lipid-soluble vitamin. You don't want to take too much of it. I personally have never seen any problems where people actually have taken too much of it, but overall, it is something you want to be aware of. But if you can actually take like, cod liver oil or cod oil, whatever, it's actually a better way for me than taking this. But there's things in the cod oil that I can't have, so therefore I'm limited to taking the vitamin D3 like this. Turmeric. I sometimes will take either just a turmeric or I'll take a turmeric with curcumin complex that actually helps. This is an amazing anti-inflammatory, which helps out quite a bit as far as the pain too, and helps your heart. I just get this one at Walmart. I order this one at Amazon. They work really well. And then apple cider vinegar, and we take quite a bit of this. I would love to simply drink the apple cider vinegar, but no, that vinegar to me is like one of the most disgusting flavors there is, if you want to call it a flavor. So I take the pills, and the studies show that the pills are just as effective, but actually helps with weight loss, which is good. Helps your heart, and actually helps you manage your blood sugar levels too, which is good because I'll even tell you, if you're diabetic and you go on keto, that could be dangerous. But if you actually get to the point where you're heading into type 2 diabetes, taking the apple cider vinegar will actually help you regulate your blood sugar levels as you lose the weight. And studies show that if you're going into type 2 diabetes, or some people actually are on type 2 diabetes, once they go on keto and they lose the weight, the type 2 diabetes usually disappears. How's that for craziness? Instead of simply just taking more pharmaceuticals shoved down your throat, because that's what they try to push. I don't like that at all. Okay, besides all that, I mentioned in a previous video, Kiss My Keto. Taking electrolyte powder once a day too will actually help out quite a bit. So those are all the things that I actually eat and take as far as vitamins go. But let's go ahead and talk about working out. Now, this is the part where maybe you can't work out at all. Maybe your body won't let you. Maybe you're elderly. I get that. But the thing is, what I've talked about so far, again, check with your doctor or see what's happening with you. You can still lose weight and get into shape simply just by changing your diet. But if you can work out, go for it. But understand, and some people don't get this, there's actually two types of workouts. There's cardio, which gets your heart going, and then there is muscle building, okay, muscle mass. And they're two different things. They're completely different. And if you ever hear somebody say, oh, I like all your muscles, but those are gym muscles. Have you ever heard that term before? That's somebody who actually has all the muscles, but they have no cardio to boot. They don't actually know how to do anything with it. Or just the opposite, you'll have some people who are like long distance runners and stuff, and they have the cardio like there's no other, but they don't really have any muscle mass. I mean, they do have some. They have to be able to do that running to keep up for it. But there's two different types of workouts. And honestly, if you can stagger, go back and forth, it's better. One day do a cardio. For Ashley and I. For her, she likes to go for walks for an hour a day, at least 2 miles. And we usually walk around our property. Sometimes we go into town and walk around town. And then for me and the kids, we're in martial arts. And we do that. We actually do it at the dojo 3 times a week. But I try to do it at home every other day besides that. I try to do cardio every day. And so if it's a day where I'm walking with Ashley, I walk with Ashley, then I'll come back and spend an hour doing martial arts in the house and then go from there. Now, the muscle mass, building muscle is really a really good thing. And especially if you're trying to lose weight, you wouldn't think that actually, you think the cardio would be best for you, but actually building muscles is one of the best ways to lose weight, because when you build the muscles, it actually, you're not only burning calories to build those muscles, but once you have the muscles, let's say you take a day off, I'm not working out today, just simply having the muscles and your body feeding those muscles, you'll burn far more calories. So actually having a lot of muscle works out very, very well. And of course, with that, lifting weights. Lifting free weights is the best. But again, it doesn't have to be majorly heavy. People think that, oh, we've got to do it fast. The best way to lift weights is nice and slow, nice and slow. In fact, it's really weird how people think that doing it fast is better when it's simply not. So trying to work out trying to work out in the 2 different ways of doing it, cardiovascular and muscle building, doing both of them is great. And a lot of people alternate cardiovascular, lifting weights, cardiovascular, lifting weights. And for us, we try to do cardiovascular every day and intermittently put lifting weights in there in between also. Sometimes we'll do like kickboxing too, just to get the heart rate going. Like, what's his name? Billy Banks. Man, that guy he's in shape where it's incredible the cardiovascular that guy can do. Okay, but again, I know you have difficulties. You probably do. I do. I'm disabled. There are some days I can't walk. There are days where literally I'll go paralyzed from the waist down and fall on the floor. There are many days where my brain is foggy and I feel numb and I can't think straight. But I will tell you, the more I work out, the more I eat right, those days are less and less. I have epilepsy too. I have seizures. And if I actually stay away from certain things like artificial sweeteners and coffee and other stuff too, my seizures are less. But the more I actually have good nutrition, the less cloudy my brain is, the sharper my brain is. And it's really just an awesome thing that through nutrition, you can heal yourself. So I will tell you this. no matter what your disability you have, no matter what problem you have, no matter what scenario you're in, you need to not say or not use those as an excuse. You need to tell yourself, you know what? I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm going to do some kind of workout today. Something, whatever you can handle every day. Making excuses is what's going to kill you. And I lived for years massively, morbidly obese, and I just made excuses. I'm busy with work. I'm busy with my kids. And it's funny because on our channel, I've had people say, why don't you eat better? And I said, I'm too busy living my life and enjoying my life than worry about eating. They're like, no, you'll enjoy your life better if you eat better. And I was like, that does make sense. But I still kind of brushed it off until now. I don't know. Now is the right time for Ashley and I, and we're doing really well. Now, again, keto's not for everyone. And there are some problems with keto. I think that a lot of the problems are not as big as people think they are. The first thing is, if you start keto, by the way, you're going to have what's called the keto flu. About a week, as your body shifts from always using carbs from your diet into making your own carbs, you'll feel like crap for a few days. For me, it wasn't that bad. For Ashley, it was a little bit worse. And some people actually feel really sick. But after a week, you'll switch and you will actually have more energy, feel better, your brain will be sharper, and all these things than you did when you were actually eating carbs. And it doesn't make sense in your mind because you think, oh, eating carbs, it'll give you more energy. But I'll tell you, once you go on keto, I have far more energy. It is night and day. And also from keto, it's difficult to get nutrients in all the time. So taking some type of multivitamin is going to help you quite a bit. And they say, although I would like to see the evidence on this, they say that keto will actually increase your chance of heart disease. I think it's a lie personally. But you know what? I can't officially call it a lie unless I actually can prove it, which I can't just yet. But I will tell you this. They can argue all they want to that keto can cause heart disease. But you know what really causes heart disease, and it's clear as day? Obesity and a sedentary lifestyle. Sitting around being morbidly obese is going to kill your heart. And that is a flat out fact. And eating sugars leads to that. That's all there is to it. If you want to make fat, it is clinically, scientifically, medically proven. When you eat a lot of carbs, you make fat. And the more fat you are, the more your heart has trouble pushing things around, your blood pressure goes up, the list goes on and on. So they can go and say all they want to, it causes heart disease. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But we know for a fact that obesity and sitting around all the time and eating a lot of sugars certainly will kill you. Period. I think many of you already know that anyway. All right, so anyway, whatever diet you choose, it doesn't have to be a diet like trying to lose weight, but whatever diet you have as far as eating goes, make sure you make your right choices, do your research, and get in shape, guys, because when crap hits the fan, and it is coming, you need to be able to handle the cardiovascular and the muscle too, and be in shape to be able to handle it. And that's the moral of the story. That's what this whole video is about. Thank you for watching.